After being hired by the Chelsea board to focus on returning the Champions League to the club, it was mission accomplished at the Bridge with a Premier League to go with it after 6 seasons of hurt in the competition. But as they say, all's well that lends well.
Mesdames et messieurs, voici venu le moment d'accueillir votre nouvel entraîneur.
Okay then guys, so as you have just seen, we of course are now relocating to France to move to RC Lens. They obviously finished second in Ligue 1 in real life this season at just a point behind PSG, and I'm a big fan of them in real life. I think they play really good football, they've got some really interesting players, so I know in terms of kind of our managerial path so far, it's maybe not the most realistic move, but I wanted to move kind of outside of PSG, and I'd say Lens are kind of outside the traditional big teams in the country. They did finish in a Europa League place, so we will have European football at the club next year. So there's a quick look at the squad, guys. There's obviously quite a bit of work that needs to be doing. We've got some good players. Our forward line is pretty good. We've got Onana and Alvarez in midfield who are good. I do want to bring in another central midfielder. Our defence definitely needs a bit of work in my opinion. And in goal as well, we're definitely going to need an upgrade. But the squad isn't awful. So we do have a relatively small budget of 34 million. So not a huge amount to work with. So this is going to be a little bit more slow and steady than we've seen with the previous projects such as Leverkusen and Chelsea. We have got quite a few names on the transfer list though, and a few on the loan list as well. Just some of these guys that aren't good enough to be in and around the squad. They're not really going to generate a huge amount of money, so it's not really going to add to our budget a huge amount. So we are going to have to be a little bit more transfer savvy in this window, and I know some people don't like it, but we're going to be using the free agents pool probably a fair amount as well. I'm not going to go overboard with it. I'm not going to be signing unrealistic, crazy regens. But I've been doing some scouting as well, and there are a few real players that I want to bring in as well. When I say real players, guys, I mean obviously not the regens that you see being generated into the free agents pool all the time. So like Stefan Bayram, he could be a decent signing. Got a bit of pace about him. He's 78 overall, so not massively over the top, but they're the kind of players that we'll be looking at this season. So guys, we are straight into the transfer business, and I said I wanted a keeper. I don't think Galini's going to be my number one, but I have brought him in case we can't get anyone else. So veteran goalkeeper, 80 overall is pretty decent, and an upgrade on what we currently have. So Galini is in, although I do think he'll be my number 2. Okay then guys, our second summer signing is in. It's another free agent, Alvaro Fernandez. He's a Spanish left wing back or left back. He joins on a relatively low contract of just 20 grand a week. And I'm pretty happy with the left back we've currently got at the club, Hadjam. We don't really have anyone of quality beyond that. So between Fernandez and Hadjam, we have a lot more strength in depth. So I'm pretty happy with that position on the field now with those two in. Alright then guys, our third summer signing is in, and I'm really happy with this one. It's Sale Kumbedi, who was at West Ham in the game. Don't know how we've only been given a C for that. We picked him up for 5.5 million plus Jamal Lascelles. And Lascelles was like the second highest earner at the club on like over 40 grand a week. And he was 34 years of age. Wasn't really going to get used. So really happy to ship him off as part of the deal. Kumbedi comes in and I think he's only earning around 25 grand a week. So saved a bit of money on the wage bill there as well. And as for Kumbedi, I think this is a really good deal. He's only 23 years of age, so still got room to develop. Can play right back and left back as well, which is really important for me. And physically, this guy is an absolute beast. He's got a bit of work to do technically. He's not bad on the defensive side, but I think with still a little bit of growth, he could be really good. And we've obviously got Frankowski, who's 33 years of age now, so he will probably play in the European games, whilst Kumbedi will play the majority of our games in the league. Really good signing for me, and a relatively cheap fee as well. Alright then, so we have agreed our first sale of the window with Adam Buksa. He's a 31-year-old Polish striker heading out the door over to Italy to join Torino. We got 5.5 million for him, which for me is a pretty good deal for a 31-year-old who was out of contract this summer. So he is off to Italy and he actually brings in a little bit of cash as well. So we've just made another free agent signing. It is Matija Jankovic, who is a Montenegrin striker. And I think he looks really good. He's only 76 overall, so he's not ridiculously high. He's 23 years of age, but this guy looks incredible. I'm hoping to shift on a few of the other strikers that we have at the club, and Jankovic will be a great option for us, I think. You can see physically he's really good across the board. He's quick, he's pretty strong as well, and not too bad in the air. And technically he's not terrible either. Got pretty good finishing, pretty good heading. His shot power and his passing's all right. So yeah, pretty good signing as a free agent. Matija Jankovic is in. And guys, another absolute bargain of a free agent signing here. I believe it's pronounced Stipe Buick. He's a Croatian left winger, comes in as a free agent. Really good deal, 82 overall. The other guy we were looking at, the Romanian, had joined Bologna, but I found Buick, who is probably even better. Now we do already have David Costa at the club, who was the top scorer last year, but he's the only actual left-sided player that we have. And Stipe Buick coming in, I believe, will provide really good cover and competition for him as well. They're both very good players to play on that left-hand side, both of them still young as well, so really happy to have both of these at our disposal. Guys, we have just seen a transfer out. Yannick Pandor has left, but that's not the one I'm excited to show you. Here is the big one. Lois Openda has rejoined RC Lens. I'm absolutely buzzing with this transfer. Now, I tried to send Pablo Felipe, the Brazilian striker we've got the other way, but they wanted about 40 million. I tried my luck offering Joel Perreault, who's a player that I do actually quite like and would have used, but for me, Openda is a step above. He joins for 18.5 million plus Joel Perreault going the other way to Sevilla, and he looks incredible, Openda. So here he is then, our new number 9. I believe he will becomes the highest paid player at the club, but that is absolutely fine with me. 28 years old, so still in his prime. He's absolutely rapid. He's strong as well. His physical and mental stats are fantastic. And then when you look at his technical ability as well, really good on the ball, good ball control, really high dribbling, and 87 finishing, 84 shot power. I'm tempted to even make Openda our captain. You can see he's got traits here: finesse shot, solid player, and outside of the foot shot. I think he's going to bag absolutely loads of goals for us. He returns to the club, and as I say, he may end up becoming club captain. Lois Openda is back at RC Lens. There's another sale going through. You can see me walking out Hakim Ziyech once again. 35 years of age now, not really in my plans. So Ziyech off to Midtjylland. And 2.3 million isn't terrible. It'll go into the budget, although the budget did take a big hit on that Openda purchase. This is another signing that I am absolutely buzzing with, guys. Another former Lens player, Seko Fofana, has returned to the club. He joins for 4.5 million plus Pablo Felipe, who I was struggling to shift on. And although Fofana is 33 now, he still looks like an absolute tank of a midfielder. I love the fact that he used to play for Lens, and he looks so at home in that kit. He's 6'1", he's built like an absolute brick shithouse. He's got high work rates, 4-star, and although he's not got the pace anymore necessarily, although he's not slow with 73 sprint speed and acceleration, you can see the rest of his stats. Really good reactions, strength, and still 91 stamina even at 33. Good mentals as well. and very good technically, good on the ball, really good defensively, the ultimate sort of box to box. He's got the leadership trait as well, so I think that Seko's actually going to take the captain's armband from Onana. But I think these two in midfield, they're both quite similar players. I think Fofana's just a slightly better version of Onana, and we bought him in for relatively cheap. Unfortunately, all the midfielders that I wanted were just way too far out of our current budget, so Seko comes in, and I think he's a really good player to have in the dressing room. Another sale going through here, only 3 million into the budget, but Marco, not going to try and pronounce his last name, is off to Vincent Kompany's Burnley. And I think we got quite a good sale out of that. 3 million for a player of his quality, I think is quite a good deal. Ladies and gentlemen, he has returned. It's Ramiro Herrera. He becomes the first man to join us at 3 clubs, having come through the academy at Roma, followed us to Leverkusen, and now joining up with us here at Lens. Joins for 10.5 million plus the former Wolves defender Totti Gomez, and this time Herrera is going to be an absolute staple in our defence, so really happy to have him in for the long run. But one of our young strikers has gone out on loan there. The young Israeli Yosef has gone out to Defensa, so good to get some first team football for one of our young strikers. The sale's gone through here for one of our left backs that was surplus to requirements. Bruno Langer has joined Stade Brest. They think we could have got a little bit more money for him, but to be honest, I just wanted to get him off the books, as we've got our 2 main left backs in Hadjam and Fernandez as well. So Langer is out. And we've just completed a quick little free agent signing for a midfielder named Yanis Ali. He's only 72 overall, but does look like he could be a decent-ish squad player, especially as we're very short in the centre of the park. We also don't have a lot of money left, so it's difficult to sign anyone that we really want. So Ali comes in just as a bit of squad depth. And on top of that, guys, we've also just brought in another free agent named Valentin Tiku. Alright then, guys, we've made it to the first game of the season, and we will be taking on OGC Nice away from home. So let's jump into it and see if we can get a win in our first game as Lens manager. Here we are then, guys. It's our first game in Ligue 1. Another brand new country for us here in the Glory Hunter save. So here is the Nice team. I'm not actually sure I've ever seen the Ligue 1 graphic properly in career mode. I've never actually played career mode in Ligue 1 since they added it in. As for us, here is our lineup in the 4-3-3. Couple of new signings in there, of course. Seko Fofana captains the side, and Lois Openda starts up front. We've gone for Costa and Usor on the wings. We've obviously got Dan James, and we brought in Buick as well, but we've gone for the boys that were here last year. It's a tough away trip to OGC Nice to start the season off. So let's jump into it then. First game as new boss. I'm betting for both teams to score. Ball on to Richarlison early doors. Unusually, we've got 2 left footers playing in our backline, which, as I say, is a little bit unusual. Here's Onana into Edson Alvarez. Now the captain Seko Fofana has Alvarez with him, pokes it around the corner to Openda. Our new number 9, Openda rounds Lafont, surely a penalty, and Alban Lafont brings down our new number 9, and we will have a spot kick just 8 minutes into the league opener. I believe it will be Lois Openda to strike it. It is Openda, and he sends Lafont the wrong way. The man who won the penalty scores it, and we lead inside 8 minutes on our Lens debut. Good pen from Openda. Banter. Top corner from him. And this game actually comes quite early in the calendar. We've got still about a month left of the transfer window. So I'm hoping to get some more deals done. We've wiped the bank balance out. It's all gone. We have emptied all of our savings accounts. So we're probably looking at a few freebies and possibly a few loans as well. We definitely need some more depth in centre mid and definitely at centre back as well. With the European football that we've got this season, we are going to have to rotate. Here's Hadjam back to Openda and into Onana, who makes it to one of the OGs, Jean Onana, makes it to, and what a start to life in France. So guys, we are of course still playing on the same sliders that we had during our time at Chelsea, or certainly towards the end of our time at Chelsea, and the ones that we used during the European Championships as well. As given the ball away there with Hadjam. I was kind of hoping we'd be bailed out by the ref, but nothing given. So yeah, still using the same sliders that we used during the European Championships with the Netherlands. We know how hectic and crazy the games were, with both teams scoring and chances at both ends, as we look to get a Pender in there. So I'm imagining we'll have pretty much a similar thing here in France, but 2-0 up so far and cruising as well. Here's Kumbedi into Fofana. Dinks one, looking for Onana. Oh, what an effort. Not really a goal scorer, Onana, but he's already scored one on the opening day and nearly scored a spectacular. Well, I think we are going to make it to half-time with our 2-0 scoreline intact. Herrera's been really good at the back. I feel like that's going to be a really crucial signing for us in this first window. As I mentioned, we are kind of a month away from the window closing, so there's a chance we might have a couple of games in this first episode before closing out the window in the next one. But definitely some more business to be done, and good to get off to this Ligue 1 campaign with a victory. We lead 2-0 at the break. Here's Richarlison into the area, and Schumacher. Annoyingly, he looks quite good, this Oscar Schumacher that we've got at the back, but he seems to have reached his max growth potential, as here comes Onana storming through the middle. Onana for 3. It's a big save by Lafont. Come Nice looking for a way back into things. And there's a big gap in the heart of our defences. Xavi Schlager in behind, and it's a great save, and it might be a penalty, not given. Big save from Galini on his debut. Looks like he will be our number 1 this year due to a lack of available funds, but he's on for a clean sheet. He's about 10 minutes away from getting one on his debut. That was a big save there to deny Richarlison. Here they come again though. Squared, and Herrera doesn't get there, and curse of the commentator. OGC Nice get their goal. Back in it, and both teams to score is always a banker. Comes inside to Openda, now Onana. And Openda's made the run through. Can he seal it? Openda, it's 3. And that will do it. It's game. Done and dusted. A brace for Openda on his return to the club. And what a signing this man's going to be. I feel like he's going to be a mini Victor Osimhen. When we get him in front of goal, he's just not going to miss. Clinical from Openda. 3-1. Game over. Won't have time to get back into it, but looking for a consolation. Herrera does well, and I think that will do it. There is the full-time whistle from the referee, and it is victory in our opening game in charge of RC Lens. Well, it's the perfect start. 3 points on the board. Of course, we know we're going to have to be pretty good to keep up with PSG. But before we get to our next game, it's back to transfer business. Everyone's favourite part of career mode. Let's see what happens between now and our next game. So guys, I've actually just realised before we go into this next match, we've got a few players whose contracts are expiring who I'd quite like to renew and keep at the club. Those being our backup Congolese keeper Herman Owusu, Jean Onana, and of course Edson Alvarez. These two definitely need to get renewed, as their contracts are up at the end of the season. As for Guido Herrera, Steven Fortes and Frankowski, none of these three will be getting contract extensions. But let's tie these three down and hopefully reduce their wages slightly too. So Herman Owusu first up to sign a deal. Additional 3 years on his contract, and we've also brought his wages down from 13 to 10 grand a week. Nana is next up to sign a deal, an additional 2 years on his contract, and a decrease in wage as well from 36 to 30 grand a week. And the third man, Edson Alvarez, also signs an additional 2 years on his contract, same as Onana, and a slight decrease in wage from 44 to 40 grand a week. So those three tied down. The other three we will let go at the end of the season. A couple of sales going through here. Guido Herrera, whose contract was up at the end of the year, we've managed to get a bit of cash in for him. He's heading to England to join up with Watford for 710 grand. Absolutely fine with me. Happy to get him off the books. 4th choice keeper, and we got a little bit of cash for him as well. We've also seen a couple of loan deals come through with Marko Maric. You might recognise him from Chelsea, coming in on loan. He will be here for the season just to cover a little bit of depth in midfield. As I mentioned, we don't have a lot of players in that position, so Maric joins for the year on loan from our former team. And speaking of loans, Ibai Jimenez, a young Spanish striker that we have on our books, is heading out on loan to Club Bruges for 2 years to hopefully get some first team football there. Guys, I'm excited about this one. A face that you might recognise, Hugo Duarte, joins us on loan. We've brought in Maric. We've now brought in Duarte as well on loan from another one of our former teams, Bayer Leverkusen. We're paying around 20 grand a week of his wages, and Duarte again will offer us a really good depth in midfield, something that we were really lacking. Alright then guys, time for our second league game of the season, obviously second game of the episode, and it's also our first home game in front of our home fans. So we will be looking for a win here. We're against Ajaccio. I genuinely don't know how you pronounce it. French is not my strong suit. Here's Openda again. Oh, Openda gets lucky. It's Openda. Oh, he's put it over. I said that he might be like a little mini Osimhen, and when he gets in front of goal, he won't miss. Well, he's missed that one. I think that was partly my fault. Put way too much power on that. Alvarez flicks on. Onana to Buick. No options in the middle, so we will recycle and wait for that chance. Here's Openda. Good feet from him. Comes to Alvarez. You saw in space, and this time we do find the net. You saw with the goal in front of the home fans, and RC Lens for the second game week in a row take the lead. I tell you what, a lot of the clubs that we've moved to throughout this save, I've kind of not expected us, but I've had hope and belief that we can win the league in kind of the first year that we moved there. Like, obviously at Roma we didn't quite win it in the first year, but I thought we'd be contenders. Leverkusen, we obviously joined halfway through our first season there, so didn't get a full year. But in that second season I was pretty confident that we would be towards the top of the Bundesliga. And then at Chelsea last year, again, pretty confident that we would at least be challenging as Edson Alvarez lets fly. But this year at Lens, I know it's going to be tough to try and dethrone PSG. I'm not expecting to win the league or even really challenge. I just want to get as close to them as we possibly can. And we're making the perfect start here. Oh, given away cheaply. Openda. Onana into Buick. Buick, it's 2. On his first start for the club, his full debut, is Buick with the finish, given away really poorly. Openda does well, lays it back to Onana, who plays it through to the Croatian, and he first time rifles it in past the keeper. Kambedi's been beaten here. Alvarez can't get there. Kambedi does do well to get the foot in, but still we're on the back foot. And the ball's played inside and it's in. Galini got a touch on it, but it's a goal back for the away side. Perhaps Galini should have done better to push it away from goal. but no clean sheet again for Lons. And they've got a lot of players on the attack here as a shot comes in, and this time Galini does make the save. Now they've sent a lot of bodies forward, and we could counter-attack as we look for Openda. Can he finish it this time? He can. Lois Openda, for the second game in a row, scores for Lons, and it restores our 2-goal lead. I was always feeling pretty confident, but there's our 2-goal lead back on the counter-attack. I don't know why they sent so many bodies forward, but we hit them on the break, and it's 3. Oh, Combetti's not got there. They're in, and it's a big save by Galini to keep it at 3-1. Great chance for the away side to get another consolation goal, but that does seem like it will be that, as the header's cleared off the line. Still not fully away, and Galini gathers. And that will be that. Another 3 points and 3 goals for RC Lons in front of the home crowd. Alright then guys, that is where we will end today's episode, the first one in France with Lons. You can see there, after 2 games being played for everyone, just 3 teams with a 100% record. That is Lille, ourselves, and of course PSG. Our first clash against them is going to be an exciting one, to say the least. So perfect start, 100% record to begin the season off. We will be back in the next episode with hopefully the draw for the Europa League, transfer deadline day, and we'll crack on with some more games in Ligue 1 as well. I hope to catch you for that very soon, guys, and peace.